One morning, you open the Wall Street Journal. The headline reads, "Cartel Massacre, 47 Dead in Juarez." You read to paragraph 9. You recognize the wire transfer code. You approved that transaction. This is not the day your story ends. This is the day it begins. You grew up in Yonkers, not rich, not poor, somewhere in the middle, which is the worst place to be, because you can see the top, but you can't touch it. You get into Wharton on a partial scholarship. You carry the rest in loans. You intern at Goldman junior year. You don't get the full-time offer. The reason they give you? Timing. The reason they don't say? Your zip code. 8 months of applications, nothing. Then Eduardo Reyes finds you on LinkedIn, Director of Capital Management, Alta Verde Partners. You can't find Alta Verde anywhere. No website, no Crunchbase, no press. But he offers a meeting in Midtown, and when you sit down, he puts a number on the table. $400,000, base, performance bonuses separate. He says, "Our clients have more money than they know what to do with. We simplify the paperwork." You sign the NDA. You don't sleep that night, but you show up Monday morning. The work at first is actually boring. Shell companies in the Caymans, real estate acquisitions in Miami, Houston, Phoenix. Wire transfers that move in one direction, clean. By month 3, you understand the business. Money arrives, sometimes in duffel bags delivered to an associate. You never touch the bags. You touch the spreadsheets. The spreadsheets always look clean. By month 6, you've processed $140 million across 14 transactions. Your bonus? $220,000. You pay off your student loans in a single transfer. You move to a 2-bedroom in Tribeca. Your parents think you finally landed the Goldman job. You let them think that. The math is simple. The questions you don't ask make it simpler. Year 2, Eduardo introduces you to the clients. Not all of them, never all of them, but enough. There is a man named Rodrigo who wears a Patek Philippe and speaks English like he went to Oxford. He maybe did. He never says what he does. You never ask. There is a woman named Claudia who controls 7 shell corporations across 3 continents. She's 41. She has 3 children. She volunteers at a school in Monterey. You like Claudia. That's the part you'll think about later. By the end of year 2, Alta Verde is moving $2 billion annually. Your cut? $1.4 million. Eduardo tells you you're being promoted. Senior Director of Structured Capital. He says, "You are now the most important person in this operation who never appears in any document. That is how you stay safe." You believe him. In year 2, you believe almost everything Eduardo tells you. Before we go further, if you're wondering how far down this goes, drop it in the comments. And make sure you're subscribed, because this next part is where everything changes. Year 3 starts with a knock on a door. Not your door, your neighbor's. 2 agents, blue jackets, 3 letters. You watch through the peephole for 11 seconds. Then you go back to your coffee. You call Eduardo. He says, "Don't change your routine. They're not looking at you." He's right. They're not. Not yet. But something shifts in you that morning. You start reading the news differently. January, a family of 4 found in Sonora. The father was a municipal police chief who testified against a trafficking corridor. March, a journalist in Guadalajara. She was investigating offshore financial flows. April, you are processing a $28 million acquisition in Scottsdale. The routing code on the incoming wire matches a sequence you've seen 3 times before. You ask Eduardo what the code means. He's quiet for a moment. Then, finish the transaction. You finish the transaction, but you save the routing number in a private document. The first document Eduardo doesn't know exists. It's a Tuesday in February when you open the Wall Street Journal. Cartel Massacre, 47 dead in Juarez. Federal sources cite significant movement of operational capital in the weeks prior. You read to paragraph 9. There is a wire transfer code, part of the federal investigation. You have a coffee cup in your right hand. You put it down very carefully. That code is from a transaction you processed in October. $47 million. 3 shell companies. a construction firm in Ciudad Juarez. You approved it in under 4 minutes. That approval took less time than this paragraph. You sit with that for a long time. 47 dead, $47 million, 4 minutes. You think about Claudia, her school in Monterrey. You wonder if she knew. You wonder if it matters. You don't call Eduardo. You open the private document. You add 11 more routing numbers. You're not sure what you're building yet, but you know you're going to need it. By year 5, you have 3 options. Option 1. You keep going. The money is extraordinary. The system is invisible. Most people in your position never get caught. Option 2. You walk away. Eduardo told you once, early on, that Altaverde lets people leave. What he didn't say is what leave looks like for someone who knows what you know. Option 3 appeared 6 months ago. A man named Agent Marcus Hale, FBI Financial Crimes. He sat down at your coffee shop without asking. He said, "I think you're smarter than the people you work for. I think you know that." He left a card. You've called the number twice. Both times you hung up before it connected. This morning, you pick up the phone. Hale answers on the 4th ring. You say, "I have documentation on 46 transactions. I know how the money moves, and I know where it goes." He says, "Can you be at Federal Plaza by noon?" You look out the window. Tribeca, the skyline. The life you built from a spreadsheet and a silence. "Yes," you say. You close the laptop. You leave the coffee cup on the counter. You don't take anything else. Some exits don't come with a second chance. You take this one before it disappears. The testimony takes 14 months. Rodrigo is arrested in London. 3 unnamed principals in Mexico are indicted. Claudia is never charged. You wonder about that for years. Eduardo disappears. Interpol lists him as a fugitive. You know Eduardo well enough to know he planned for this. You relocate under a new name, a city you won't disclose. You don't do finance anymore. You teach math at a community college. The students are 18, 19 years old. Sometimes one of them reminds you of yourself at that age. You think, I could show this kid exactly how to move $2 billion without leaving a trace. You think, I hope they never need to know that. The rest of the time, you just grade papers. The math is still simple. The cost never was. You opened a newspaper one morning and recognized your own work. That was the day you stopped being a banker. It took 4 more years to stop being what came after. Some choices don't announce themselves. They show up on page 9 of a newspaper, and they wait to see if you're paying attention. What would you do? If this story hit different, subscribe. Every week, a new POV, a new choice, a new world that shouldn't exist but does. The unfiltered POV. This is your story.